Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Charles Coachman. And this is Bay Area Let's Talk Music. Bay Area Let's Talk Music. Well, I like to get our show started out on the proper foot. And let's do this by saying happy birthday shout outs to Terry Rowe, daughter of an old friend of mine. And Terry, I'm just wishing you a very, very happy birthday. Then this is Jen Khazar. Jen is also the daughter of a friend that I've known since I was in junior high. So Jen, happy birthday to you. And here's a young lady that I have known since I was 6 or 7 years old. Teresa Ortiz Nino, happy birthday to you. Wishing you all the best. And then this is a realtor friend of mine out of the South Bay, Yvonne Villalaba. Wishing you, Yvonne, a very happy birthday. And if it's your birthday out there, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Wishing you all the best. All the best, ladies. Happy birthday. So it's Ladies' Day on Music Day. So ladies, happy birthday. All right, let's see what do we got coming up. Next thing that I like to do is talk about the companies that we are using. And that is the Grow Live Academy. That's a Ken Wall company, growliveacademy.com. It's a terrific program to listen to and a really great program to take part in. Last night we had a class with Mark Victor Hansen, and just unreal. Here's a guy that sold, other than the Bible, the most books in the world, who was part of a team that has sold the most books ever, other than the Bible. About 500 million books. And so if you can't learn something from someone like that, then there may be no hope. Maybe I'm one of those people, but it was a terrific class. And then we are using StreamYard.com as our platform to broadcast on, StreamYard.com. And then Hippo Video. It's how I'm keeping in touch with my clients. Hippo Video. All right, let's get going again. This is Bay Area Let's Talk. And I am Charles Coachman. You can reach me on my cell phone at 408-439-0766, or you can text me there. And then you can reach me by email at bayarealetstalk@gmail.com, bayarealetstalk@gmail.com. And then after the show and then throughout the week, I post videos on Facebook called The Soundtrack of My Life. That's one of my Facebook pages. And so tonight, possibly tomorrow, I will post more videos up there, and a lot of it will have to do with the group that we're going to discuss in a little bit. Soundtrack of My Life. I had to post it there because I couldn't remember what I'd titled it. But anyway, the Soundtrack of My Life. And let's see. Bay Area Let's Talk. It's music. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got going on. Boom. Larry Schneider. Hey, man. How you doing? Hope you are having a wonderful day. Let's see, it's 5 o'clock where you are, so it might be time to have a nice cold one. I'll tell you what, if I could pop open a nice cold one, I think I might. Scott Ricard, hey, good afternoon, good evening, Scott. Hey, we've had a very good day, other than chasing a dog down to the vet again. It seems like it's an every Friday event, but we got it done. And then, hi, Scott. Scott Ricard. Larry, how are you doing? Alicia Underwood. Hi, Dr. Chuck. Well, I'll tell you what. I met this young lady who is a dear young girl that I have known for much of her life. And let me tell you the story. I carry in a duffel bag when I went down to Ontario, California to visit my aunt and uncle. And there was Alicia and her young brother, David. And carrying this duffel bag, they asked me, "Are you a doctor?" And I said, "Yes, I am a doctor." From that point on to Alicia, I was Dr. Chuck. Dr. Chuck. So it still hangs on. Ken Wall rocks. Yes, he does. Ken Wall's rocks. And then forgetfulness. Me forgetful? Yes, me forgetful. I can imagine that. All right, let's see what else we have going on here. And Alicia, I am glad to see you. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are doing well and taking good care of yourself, because I know you've had some issues that and hospitalization and surgery. So I am hoping that you are doing well and taking good care of yourself, because that's the main thing. We got to take good care of ourselves. All right, let's take this down and let's talk. First thing that we're going to talk about is it was actually a light day as birthdays go. There's a couple of people that they talked about. Paul Atkinson. You may not have heard Paul Atkinson, or you may not remember his name, but he was the lead guitar for the Zombies. Born in 1946 on this date, he passed away in April of 2004 at the age of 58. So, Paul Atkinson, one of my favorite groups, the Zombies, and they became a group in the early 70s called Argent. The Zombies became Argent because one of the members of the group was, I believe it's Ron Argent. And so they switched their music up and went to Argent. But now they are out there touring again. At least they were up until the pandemic. They were touring, and they had just been put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, just a wonderful band. I got to see them in Santa Cruz maybe 5-6 years ago, and they were awesome. I just loved them. Absolutely loved it. And then there was a fellow named Derek Longmire. And here's for you young people. Derek Longmire of the Bay City Rollers. Born on this date in 1952. And they had some big hits, them and their kilts and their dress wear. Everybody kind of liked them. And then because he put out an album or two, they have got Bruce Willis put in here. Full-time actor, part-time rocker Bruce Willis, born on this date in 1955. 1955. Let's turn on to some of the other stuff. Do you remember David Bowie? David Bowie sadly passed away a couple of years back, or actually a little more than a year ago. David Bowie in 1970 on this date married his wife, Angie Barnett. Angie Barnett. Do we remember that? Well, you may not remember Angie per se, because he went on to marry a superstar lady. And but Angie, do you remember that name? Well, that name was the name of a Rolling Stones song. And it was believed to have been written about Angie Barnett or Angie Bowie. So I think the story's safe. I don't know if they ever got to the bottom of it or not, but that was the story. That song was apparently written about her. So I'm not sure, but I do remember that. 1971, number one on the charts in both England and in America, me and Bobby Mcgee. Me and my Bobby Mcgee, and it happened within 6 months to a year after Janis Joplin died. She has a hit. She has a number one hit after she passed away. And that was a great song written by Chris Christopherson. Wonderful, wonderful song. And it still is. It's still a rocking song. 1974 on this date. We talked about this group last week, Jefferson Airplane. On this date, they changed their name to the Jefferson Starship. Jefferson Starship. And it was a big deal. 1975, during North American tour, Led Zeppelin appeared at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, Canada. Tickets cost $750 in advance. Led Zeppelin, $750. What a deal. What a deal. 1981, Jay Giles Band were at #1 on the U.S. single charts with Centerfold. And then Roxy Music was at #1 on the single chart with Jealous Guy. Jealous Guy was a song that was recorded by John Lennon. Recorded and sung by John Lennon, but then Roxy Music covered it. And then I went to see the Jay Giles Band in 1981, where they were one of the opening acts for the Rolling Stones. The band that opened before them, the actual opening band was, maybe forgetfulness is hitting, but who was it? It was George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers, along with the Jay Giles Band, along with the Rolling Stones, who had their hit song at that time, Start Me Up. But when you kick off with George Thorogood, you're rocking and rolling right then. Let's take a quick look before. Now, let's go. Randy Rhoads on this date in 1982 is unfortunately killed in a bus accident, tour bus accident. So Randy Rhoads, rest in peace. What a monster guitarist he was. And then the last thing that I am going to cover here is 1996. The second Beatles anthology was released. And on it had a song called Real Love, which had never been recorded or which had never been released, but it was a new John Lennon song. So, 16 years after he passed. So that was a big deal. So let's take a quick look here and see what we've got. Alicia, much better living back at home. So over 3 months. Love you, Charlie. Have a great day. Alicia, you just take good care of yourself. You take good care of yourself. Going to have to look them up. Wow, I missed out on that band. Oh, you're a youngster. So glad to catch the Casey Kasem on Facebook. Hey, and we got our top 40 of America. So, Mark, so glad that you were here, brother. So glad to see you. Nice, Scott. How on earth do you remember all this stuff? Well, it's just, it filled up my brain when I should have been doing work. I was filling it up with this. Filling it up with rock music. Loved it. Mark. Hey, buddy. I'm glad to see you, man. So now we are going on and we are going to talk about today's group, which is Credence Clearwater. Credence Clearwater Revival. How many of you remember them? How many of you remember their big hits? Well, I got to tell you, Credence Clearwater was actually only around for a very short time. A very short time. They were formed in 1967. They broke up by 1962. In that time, they had put out 6 albums. They had about 20 top 20 hits in that time. They were actually the hottest band in America. They came out of the Bay Area. John Fogerty and his brother Tom, I believe they were both born in Berkeley, went to school in El Cerrito and grew up in the Bay Area and recorded their music here in the Bay Area. They put out what was like a Bayou sound. and had some of their songs called that, Down on the Bayou. But they just put out some of the best music ever. But from 1967 to 1972, when they broke up, they had some awesome music. The group was made up of John Fogerty, Tom Fogerty, his brother, his older brother, Stu Cook, and Doug Clifford. Now they had a rough time because Tom Fogerty was the older brother, and he thought he was going to be the leader of the group. But the one that had all the songs was John Fogerty. John did all the writing. So he finally said, hey, if you want to be the head of this, then you write the songs. And I'll just get back in there and play. And he pushed them and pushed the guys. These guys were putting out 2 albums a year, where most bands, 2 to 3 albums a year, where most bands put out an album every year and a half. But this was a different age where bands were going into the studio, and in a few sections and in few sessions in less than a week, they were cutting an album. Now it can take a week just to remix what has already been recorded. At least a week, maybe a week on one song, because everyone wants to be perfect, being that it's all done electronically. But they had some of the best music ever. I'm gonna list off some of their albums, starting out with their album named after themselves, Credence Clearwater Revival. They had the song "I Put a Spell on You," The Working Man, Susie Q, 99 and a Half, Get Down Woman, Porterville, Gloomy, Walk on the Water. Their second album was Bayou Country, Born on the Bayou, Bootleg, Graveyard Train, Good Golly Miss Molly. And if you haven't heard their version of Good Golly Miss Molly, you got to hear it, because it's a rocking song. Then they also put out Proud Mary, and then Keep on Chooglin'. Keep on Chooglin'. But Proud Mary, who is that recorded by? Well, it's been recorded by several groups, but the big one was Ike and Tina Turner, who it became a #1 hit for. A smash hit for Ike and Tina Turner. That was her big song, and that was her big breakout. And then their third album, Green River. First song, Green River. Commotion, Tombstone Shadow, Wrote a Song for Everyone, Bad Moon Rising, Lodi, Cross Tie Walker, Sinister Purpose, The Last Time is the Right Time. Now, I was almost out towards Lodi yesterday, and so I was thinking, you know what? I got to go to the sign for Lodi, take a selfie, and say, I'm stuck in Lodi again. I love these guys. And actually, you know what? They had a previous group. They were called the Gollywogs. The Gollywogs. I was in school, in elementary school, in 6th grade, and they were already putting out all their hits. And one of my friends says, my dad has had them at his bar. He goes, they're known as the Gollywogs when they play locally. And they don't want anyone to know. They'll come in and jam at the local bar. My friend's dad had a bar, I believe it was called the Wild Alaskan, or the Alaskan Club. And they came in and played there because it was within like 15 miles of where they lived at and where they recorded at. But when they wanted to play in a bar, they could play locally, either in Berkeley or Oakland, but then right up the road and right on the Sacramento River. So it was very, very cool. And so I've talked with my friends saying, do you remember talking to me about that? It was just one of those things. Willie and the Poor Boys. That's their fourth album, Down on the Corner. It Came Out of the Sky. Cotton Fields. Poor Boy Shuffle. Poor Boy Shuffle. Feeling Blue. Fortunate Son, their biggest song ever. Don't Look Now. It Ain't You or Me. The Midnight Special, which was one of my favorite songs, the Midnight Special. Side of the Road, Effigy. That was just one. That's just a very few of their songs. And then their albums, Cosmo Factory and then Pendulum was actually the last album that they recorded. Oh, let's see. Yeah, that's Pendulum was the last album that they recorded with the original group. Then it went to Mardi Gras and the brother was gone. Tom was left. Of course they came out of the Bay Area. Of course they did. I got to tell you, I would have thought they came out of New Orleans, to be real honest with you. That's what I would have thought. I would have thought they came out of the bayous. But no, the Bay Area, where some of the best bands ever came out of. So, of course, they came out of the Bay Area. Love CCR. What an awesome band and great music. And John Fogerty is still out there rocking. He's 75 years old. 75 years old. And Scott, I believe it was somebody near your hometown who was John Fogerty's drummer now. I can't think of the name right off the bat. Maybe John Aronoff. Is that it? John Aronoff, who played with who? John Cougar Mellencamp, who was his first drummer, I believe. I don't know if it's John Aronoff or not, but it's something like that. Don't forget that amazing band from the 60s called The Affiliates that had a young lead live. Do you have an affiliate link, sir? I'll need your affiliate link for you to come in, please. We're going to need that, Mark. That's funny. That's hilarious. The young lead live singer, Ken Walls. Do not forget it. Let's get to their last couple of albums. Cosmo's Factory. Ramble Tamble, Before You Accuse Me, Traveling Band, Ooby Dooby, Looking Out My Back Door, Run Through the Jungle, Up Around the Bend, My Baby Left Me, Who'll Stop the Rain, and one of the greatest songs that I remember, and I just listened to this yesterday. I heard it through the grapevine. Now, of course, Marvin Gaye had just a phenomenal hit with that. And then some young lady, Anna Pips, also had a terrific song. But these guys turned this song around from a soul music song and Motown song to a country song, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Completely different sound, but just dynamite. And then the guitar playing on that was incredible. Now, Pendulum, a song called Pagan Baby, Sailor's Lament, Chameleon, Have You Ever Seen the Rain, Wish I Could Hide Away, Born to Move, Hey Tonight, It's Just a Thought, Molina, and Rude Awakening. And then there is one more album, and it's called Mardi Gras, Looking for a Reason, Take It Like a Friend, Need Someone to Hold, Tearing Up the Country, Someday Never Comes. Someday Never Comes is a great song also. What Are You Gonna Do? Sail Away, Hello Mary Lou, Door to Door, and this rock and roller, Sweet Hitchhiker. Oh, what an awesome career those guys had. They were incredible. Now, like I said, they were only around from 1969 through 72. In 3 years, they had all these hits. It was one of the first live rock concerts that I got, to see on television, because it had been recorded and it was played locally. I don't know if it was played on KQED, but it was incredible just being able to take a look at that. So, as we wrap this up, I just wanted to give you Credence Clearwater, what's considered their top 10 songs. Number 10, Up Around the Bend. on Cosmos Factory. Have You Ever Seen the Rain on Pendulum. Number 8, Down on the Corner on the Willie and the Poor Boys album. Number 7, Green River on an album with the same title. Number 6, Looking Out My Back Door on Cosmos Factory. Number 5, Bad Moon Rising off the album Green River. Number 4, Who'll Stop the Rain off Cosmos Factory. Number 3, Proud Mary off of Bayou Country. And I remember going down and we were at a real estate convention hanging out in a karaoke bar. And I got up there and sang this with the big old cowboy. And it was pretty funny. We had a good time. But we sang the CCR version. I wasn't trying to do a Tina Turner. So Proud Mary, number 3 from the Bayou Country album. Number 2, Born on the Bayou. That's a heck of a rocker. And that again was off the Bayou Country album. And then Fortunate Son, the biggest selling single they ever had. Their biggest hit, Fortunate Son. It has played. It's as good today and means as much today as it did back in the late 60s because we still have the same crap going on. We got young people. Now we're an all-volunteer army. But if we were to go back to where we were selecting people to get back into the army, you can bet all the senators and their sons and daughters would be pushed away from that. They wouldn't have to do this. They would be somewhere off in college. They would be held up. They aren't going to the front lines. And I pray that, I'll tell you what, I pray that we never go back to the front lines again. I pray that we're never in a war again. But a reminder to Vietnam, to all the wars since Vietnam. And I guess they call Vietnam a conflict, but it was war. Fortunate Son was, he wasn't born with a silver spoon. So, and John Fogerty actually served. So he knew what he was writing about. And he said, I'm not a fortunate son. So, guys, that is it for Bay Area Let's Talk Music. Bay Area Let's Talk Music on a Friday. And this one has been my favorite one ever. Talking about music history on CCR. They are, you know what? They're in my top 10 of American bands. But for Bay Area bands, they are right there. They're probably in my top 5 bands because we've had some amazing bands come out of here. But there's nobody that's had a 3-year period that's any better than what CCR had. So, wish everyone a great day. Have an awesome weekend. Enjoy it. God bless you guys. You take care, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week as we go to Bay Area. Let's talk music. World off. Music on. Have a great weekend. Bye.